Hi, Janelle King here, and we just did the Draw Forth the Book Inside of You, and there were so many questions that we didn't even get to cover. I wanted to make sure I did those justice. So here is a question that comes from N, and she was asking what I found most helpful to getting my book done and the way I wanted it, which is a really great question. Let's see what I can share with you there. So, helpful about getting my book done, giving myself permission to work on it the way I needed to work on it was a huge thing for that. Because you know how we're all looking around for the right way to do something, and you know that might be why some people are watching these videos. Hey, Janelle wrote her book this way, therefore that's the way I have to do my project. Giving yourself permission to explore different processes, learn from different processes, take what works for you, and then just make up your own thing that is a custom fit for the way you work. That was the thing I needed to do because I don't work the way everybody else works. And there are some processes that I need to be visual in. There are some processes that I need to be more auditory with. There are some processes that I need to have more of a sensory experience, or I need to be on the train when I'm doing certain things, or I need to listen to a certain playlist when I'm doing certain things. So knowing that it was okay for me to create the way for myself that absolutely works for me, even if it doesn't look normal to other people, allowed me to get the book done. In my mind, I thought, oh, well, you're supposed to write your book, and it's all you, and you can't ask for help because, you're the author. And then I realized, but, I don't work like that. I work with collaboration. So I collected ideas and let them percolate, but then when I sat down to write the book, I did it with a buddy, and that worked out fantastic. And then, when I was ready to turn this book into, from parts of the book into a real book, I built myself a little team that worked great. The editor was really the anchor for my team, and then having a mentor who just was there for kind of emotional support and sanity, who can talk me through or talk me down from any cliffs that I was on as I went through this process. Those were essential for me getting my book done. Being able, giving myself permission to push out my timeline. I am someone, when it comes to client deadlines, you hit your client deadline, man. That is a non-negotiable. When I am working with other people and my timeline isn't going to get hit, it takes a little bit of massaging in my brain and some work for me to let that go. But I have to be able to let it go and adjust on the fly so that I can keep my goal in mind and keep moving forward instead of getting stuck in like, oh man, I didn't hit that July goal. This book's never going to happen, and then just toss it all out. So permission and holding things lightly, or just enough structure to support them being done, but without stifling them or crushing them or me micromanaging them. Those were critical elements for me being able to actually get my book done. Just enough structure for sure, especially with my work schedule, being able to carve out, not even every day, although that was the goal, but carving out regular points in time, regular moments where I would work on my book, and I could pass it over to somebody else, and they could continue that stuff while my editor could make her revisions and give her feedback while I had to work on something else. But it keeps the energy going. So little baby steps moving forward, even if I'm walking with somebody else. It got me where I needed to go. A clear why drove this book. This was a book I couldn't not write. I had to write this thing. So that helped keep me motivated and focused, and that helped getting the book done and getting the book done the way I wanted it, because that clear why really led to a clear vision of what I wanted to create and who I was creating it for. You know, what's the book that you're going to write, and who are you creating it for? I knew I knew what I wanted to bring forth to the world, and so with that clear vision, I could tell if I was going off, and because I could communicate it to my partners, you know, I could communicate it to my editor, I could communicate it to my mentor, then they could see if I was starting to go off and say, well, you know, Janelle, remember, this is what you meant to write, and you're writing 5 books right now. Which one do you want me to focus on? Because there are 5 of them here. That was really helpful. So having a level of communication and honesty allowed me to get the book done the way I wanted to. So finding the right team, finding the right people for the right jobs is, oh my gosh, essential for getting this book done and done the way I wanted. I did have an experience with a vendor who was not the right fit. We did not share the same work ethic, and we did not share the same values, I guess you could say. So that ended up causing a major hiccup in my book's release that I needed to recover from. Finding the people, not just who can do the job, but who are really part of your team, was a huge piece for getting this book done. Because my editor, I adore my editor. She love the people who helped me write this thing. The people who inspired it, I love them to death. The people who ended up designing the book, I love and appreciate what they did so much. You know, my beta readers, the people who, you know, were able to help push me out from points of being stuck. You know, friends on social media. You know, these are people that you know, there's a little room in my heart right here for you guys. You can welcome anytime. But having that kind of a team, not someone who is, you know, just working on a thing with you, but someone who becomes vested in the success of that project. It's their baby too. That's important for me because that's how I show up for my clients. You know, I am like in it to win it with them. I cannot wait to see them succeed. And so building a team for myself of people who cannot wait to see me succeed, that was also something very helpful. The mentor, having someone that I could talk to about, you know, this is what I'm going through in this process, and talk me down because I think I'm going crazy, or I want to burn my book, or this is the best thing ever and I'm totally unrealistic right now. All of that stuff, that voice of reason and that sanity and that grounding that she provided me is a gift beyond measure. You know, losing or being able to let go of my ego a lot allowed me to make the book that I wanted to be able to share with people. That sounds weird, doesn't it? Letting go of the ego allows you to share the book that you want to share with people. But my ego, my ego can get in the way of creating something amazing if I am too attached to what I just wrote, for example. I just wrote this amazing chapter on cognitive neuroscience and how it ties into visual communication and visual thinking, and it's like a book in itself, and this thing has to go into the book. This was true. And my editor read it, and she's like, okay, let's revisit that arc that you wanted to follow. Because I don't think they're going to care as much as you do. I mean, it's clear that you care about this topic and you love this topic, but I don't think it really is in service to your reader to go into it at the level of detail that you are doing in this chapter. And my ego was like, no, cognitive neuroscience is awesome. It's fascinating. Everybody's going to want to know about that. And yeah, there are probably some people who would, but not in this book. That's not what this one's about. And so it's that type of ego, like being able to let go of what I want to see happen, you know, the book that I would want to write for myself, letting go of that and allowing myself to write the book that I really want to be able to give to someone else that serves them, that's something that really allowed me to write the book that I wanted to be able to give to people the way I wanted to. So that's what I mean by that one. So that really comes up in editing. When it comes to design, I needed to hold the line for what I wanted. I needed to let go of designers who were not going to serve, the book the way that it needed to be served, and work with people who got the vision. So I need to be able to communicate that vision, but also it's tempting to be like, oh, I feel so bad, but you know what? This isn't right. I need to change this. This is inconsistent with this one. Hold the line for the things that you need to have right, and that allowed me to put out a book that I can feel good about, and the way that I wanted it. I'm looking at my little cheat sheet of things that I wanted to remember to say. Know what to let go of and do it. I talked about that already a little bit with the whole ego piece. Yeah, there's the book that you write, and then there's the book that people need, and that's somewhere in between what you've created. Somewhere in what you've created is the book that people need, and let go of the stuff that gets in the way for that beautiful thing to emerge. And then know yourself and the way you work and honor that. That's really the best thing. I would work, here, let me switch over. I'll show you what I mean. When I would work on my book, I would work in windows, you can say. And they're maybe like 2 hours max. I know that when I look at my own productivity, it starts going like, oh, okay, I'm starting to get into it, and then it's like, woo-hoo, and then it'll like drop off, and then I need to watch TV or something or do something stupid. This is when I need to work right here. This is the sweet spot. This is the yay, I am doing the best work ever. If I continue to work beyond this, I actually do more harm than good. And I know this about myself. If I see that window closing and I say, no, but I gotta push through, and I'm just gonna work 12 hours today on this thing, with the exception of writing the sections, and I wrote those sections in a series of 2-hour chunks, right? I would write, and then I would take a break, but then I had my writing buddy, and we were in it to win it, so that was going to happen. But normally, I have a window in which I am operating on all pistons. All pistons are firing. And if I move out of that window, then I need to stop, because I'm not going to do my best work, and I'm going to start getting confused, and I will start doing damage to the stuff that I've already written, thinking that I'm doing a better job, and then when I go back to it, when I'm back in that window, I'll be like, oh, no, that was a bad idea. So I know I'm going to work on something 2 hours at a time, and that's okay. Giving myself permission to work the way I need to work, to know myself and pay attention to those things and make it okay, and to let my work be driven by my why, and to have it be okay for the book to be personal is something that allowed me to do a good job, I think, on the book too. It's not something that I just put together. This and people have noted this, or reflected it back to me. They're like, wow, this feels like I'm sitting down with you. And I think working this way and going through these things allowed that to be the case. I really wanted it to be an experience where it's like this. We're hanging out and we're talking and we're drawing stuff, and I'm passing the pen over to you like, okay, your turn, you go do it, and you're excited and you're like, yeah, I can do this, and pick it up and like play, and I've got you, and we're walking along on this journey. I have to do the same thing for myself for my writing process. So Yeah, I don't know what else to say about that. Like I'm starting to ramble, so I'm going to stop. I hope this answers your question about what I found most helpful to getting my book done and done my way. If you have questions, you know where to reach me. You can email me at janelle@janelleking.com, and you can always reach me on Twitter because I do love me some Twitter. Oh, yes, I do. And Twitter, you can reach me at Janelle King. All right, that's it for now. I look forward to seeing you next time, and take care. All right, bye-bye.